guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be the next part in our sort of fertility journey series. Obviously these videos span, well, I've only done one other video, but they spanned over quite a few months. As I'm filming this, it is the 23rd of October and I'm just getting ready now to upload the first part of this series. So if you've not already seen that, I will leave a card up the top. And I'm sure there'll be a playlist made out of this, but that goes into sort of the first year's worth of info, I guess. So yes, where to begin? So since the last video, I finished that one saying, I think we finished it around sort of June time, because Darren was going in the next few weeks for his weight loss surgery. So he's had that now. He is, what, 3 months post-op. He's doing really well on that. He's lost about 10 stone. If you do want to see that, that will also be in a card. There's a whole playlist of his journey. But he also was dealing with his ruptured bowel. At the moment, touch wood, he has the all clear on that, but he does still have to go back to do some investigation work still. But that's sort of where I left off the last video. So we're sort of 4 or 5 months along from that. We have been loosely trying in those few months, but obviously not a lot because, you know, Darren's had to recover from his major surgery and that sort of thing. So it's not really been forefront of our mind. That being said, last month, so this sort of October cycle, we sort of did try again, and as you can probably guess from this video, it wasn't a successful cycle, and I'm currently on my period now. Whoop-de-doo. So that is where this sort of journey begins, takes off again. So it is about now a year since we've been trying. I've been off my contraceptive pill for about 2 years now, so that's fully worked its way out my system, so it's not that having an effect. And so now it's getting the ball rolling for some investigation work, really. So we did an e-consult. Both me and Darren had to do one separately to our GPs. Darren's really straightforward. They said he just has to obviously do a semen sample, which we expected. I'll talk about a little bit of that in a minute, of what the current process is like for that. For me, it was a little bit more difficult because I obviously needed a blood test and I also needed to do a urine sample. So obviously urine sample, super easy. We've done many of those before, haven't we, girls? So yes, did the urine sample. That came back all clear. Not quite sure what they actually test for in a urine sample. Like, throughout this, they've not been great about telling me what they're actually looking for with these tests. But they're obviously looking for something, and it came back clear. Obviously I've had my smear test this year. That was my first one. I did an experience vlog about that. That will also be linked somewhere. I don't know how many cards you can link up, but I'll link it down below. Giving myself a lot of work to do post-production. We like that. So yes, that all came back clear. So that was that. Darren did his semen sample. He had to phone up sort of the local clinic, which is at one of the nearby hospitals. I don't know if it's just COVID protocol or this is just the protocol that they do now, because obviously the only experience I've ever had with, you know, giving, well, not personal experience, but like giving a semen sample is my dad obviously had to do one 25 years ago when my parents were trying for me because I was an IVF baby. So that's all I've ever heard is about how my dad had to go and give his sample, and the only thing in the room that they gave to help was yachting magazines. That's like the running joke around it. Yes, so yeah, Darren had to book his appointment, and basically they gave him a pot and they were like, this is your time for appointment, like 3 o'clock. So the hour before you have to produce this sample at home, and then you have to literally store it in a pocket very close to you. So you put it in like his trouser pocket so it stays warm, and you have to obviously get that sample to your appointment within the hour. And I think he literally just went there, gave them the sample. I don't think they did anything else except for like make sure it was him, went through that. They did ask him if he wanted to be a sperm donor. which actually I need to discuss with him because his results all came back clear, and he said yes, he wanted to be a sperm donor, but you know, he didn't ask me about that. But I just want to like know what the protocol is for that, because obviously if he had bad sperm they wouldn't have gone ahead with it, but they said if they do want to donate it they do get back in touch with him. So we need to sort of like go through that, because I know what he's like. He did it very spur of the moment, like, yeah, sure, he wants to help people, but he didn't think of like the actual repercussions of it. So that's just something that, I mean, they may or may not ask you, but it's something that they asked him at his appointment. So maybe something you want to discuss with your partner before going into it, because we definitely didn't have that discussion. And yes, I would love to help people, but we also want to know like the practicalities of it. Like, does he have to put his name forward? Like, will they know it's him that's given it? That sort of thing. But we're getting slightly off topic. So Darren's results came out. We found back in the week. It took about 4 days for it to get from the hospital back to us at our GP surgery, and they gave him the all clear. They said like some of them looked a bit abnormal, but in the sense that they just had a funny shape, but the actual like, I guess, quality and like efficiency of them was fine. So Darren's in the all clear. So once we got those results back, it was like, well, that's good, isn't it? Like, he's in the clear. That's one half we don't have to sort of worry about. But then it's something I've now got to internalize, like, hang on, it could actually be me that's the issue here. And am I the problem? Like, obviously my mum had problems. Is it something I'm also gonna struggle with? And like, that's something we've always very openly talked about, me and my mum, like, don't expect it to happen straight away. And you know, that's something that's always been in the back of my mind. So yeah, I did my urine sample, and I also had to do 2 blood tests. Now the problem was, at this current point in time, there is a blood bottle shortage in the UK, and they told me that they were not prioritising fertility treatments. So that was kind of annoying. She was like, you know, we're not quite sure how long this is going to go on for, but, you know, call back in a couple of weeks, find out, and then go from there. So that was pretty frustrating. Obviously I did my urine sample in that time, but it was kind of like, oh, we're at sort of a standstill here. So yeah, it really was quite getting me down. So I did another e-consult. I basically badgered the doctors about it, and I think they sort of gave in the end. And, you know, I spoke to the doctor again, and she was like, I've spoken to the senior GP, and we are going to give you the go-ahead to have these blood tests, because you've been struggling for over a year. They probably just wanted me off their case, but they could see it was getting us down. And yes, in the grand scheme of things, like having to wait, maybe it could have just been an extra month I would have had to wait for the blood bottles, but I didn't know that. And also, like, when you're very much in the moment, you know, and when you're trying every month, I mean, you guys will know, just having to wait 1 week, 2 weeks can feel like forever. So waiting potentially another month, another 2 months, who knows how long, was really upsetting, to be honest. So we got the go-ahead for the blood tests. So for the 2 blood tests, you need one between days 1 and 5 of your period, and then you need one about 24-ish days, I think it was, in your cycle. So I went for my blood test on Thursday. Today is Saturday, and I hate blood tests, absolutely hate them. It's just like, I'm fine with needles, I've had tattoos, I've had my vaccinations, like, that's all fine. It's the drawing of the blood I don't like, and they always have to like prod around. So she tried 2 times on my left arm and it didn't work, so then she went over to my right arm. Luckily I was okay. So that was my day 4 blood test, and I have to go back in about 2-ish weeks for my second blood test, which will be, I think, like day 23, 24 of my cycle. And again, they didn't really tell me what they were looking for, but I've spoken to my friend, and I think they are just making sure, obviously, that like everything's okay with your blood, but also checking that you've ovulated that month. So that's where we are at the moment. I don't know the results from my first blood test. I think I'm just obviously going to wait until my second one's over, and then they can compare them. And once they've got those, then I have to like get another call with my GP, and she'll discuss it through me. And she said, you know, we go from there. Either, you know, it will come back clear and then they tell me what I need to do next, or they refer me for fertility treatment. So I think the two outcomes that could happen, either one, yes, it shows that I'm ovulating, but why is that not happening? Then I think they refer you to a fertility clinic. And then B, you could not be ovulating, and then I think they can give you tablets to help increase ovulation, and obviously they probably refer you again then just to make sure there's not a serious reason why you're not ovulating. Could it be one of your ovaries isn't working, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. There's a couple things that obviously we're doing in the meantime just to, you know, increase our chances. Obviously we live pretty healthy lifestyles, you know, exercise, eat pretty healthy as far as things go. Obviously Darren's lost a lot of weight, so that's helped his chance. We don't smoke, we don't drink, so we're helping our chances as much as we can. Obviously going at it at what we think is the right time of the month with ovulation, but I have been doing a bit of research myself, because I feel there's like a lot of things that they don't tell you. Like when I asked my GP, I was like, is there any other sort of things that I can do to help? And she was literally just like, live a healthy lifestyle, everything that I've just told you that we already do. And I was talking to my friend that's also been having fertility issues, and she gave us some recommendations on like some supplements we can take, but I also looked into, obviously there's the basal temperature tests that you can do, where you track your temperature every day, like as soon as you wake up before you get out of bed, and supposedly around the time of ovulation your temperature rises slightly, so that's where you can track, one way you can track it. And then also for your fertile mucus, which might be one of the ways that I go about it, I think this month, where you literally have to feel your mucus, and like that helps tell you where you are in your cycle and if you're like gonna be fertile and ovulating. So I think I'm gonna try that without getting too sort of gruesome about things. Obviously we have the ovulation sticks, but I was also reading that like one of the peak times is just before you're about to ovulate, whereas I think we were focusing maybe too much on like the day of ovulation and then like that little window afterwards, because if you think about it, the sperm goes up and it can stay up there for a week, so like you want that to happen as the egg's about to come, I guess, or the day of the egg releasing, as opposed to like the sperm just being there the first day and you've already ovulated, and the time afterwards where the egg could then not latch on. I'm not a scientist, I don't know, but do you see what I'm getting at here? So yeah, who knew getting pregnant could be so difficult? And I can only imagine that like half of you guys that are watching this are also maybe struggling at this time with being you know, fertile and getting to conceive. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for today's part. In the next part, I can only assume it'll be after I've had that second blood test, so lucky you guys, you get to see it in a matter of moments. But yeah, I'm going to end this part for today and I will see you. Hi guys, so today is the 20th of November. It is actually this one's birthday. Oh, that's a creaky door. It's your birthday today, my little fur baby. But as you can probably guess, we're here taking a pregnancy test today. I have just woken up, hence the look, but I thought I'd take it. Couple of reasons. First one, curiosity. Although I am pretty sure it's going to be negative this month. I don't think we timed it right with ovulation. And, you know, I've had all my blood tests this month, so that's that. I've been feeling a little bit nauseous this morning and the other day as well, but I did have my booster jab yesterday, so it could be related to that. And also at my booster yesterday, he was like, is there a possibility you're pregnant? And I was like, well, I don't definitively know if it's a no, so there is a possibility. So I thought I'd just take it. Darren's at the gym at the moment. Let's just take it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be negative. I'm kind of expecting that. But you're here for the journey with me. Not pregnant. So, kind of expected that, didn't we? Yeah, it took me a little while to work out how to read this one because these are not my usual ones that I use. There's not really two ways about it, like, that's a firm not pregnant. So yeah, that's another month over. I'm kind of okay about it because I expected it. It still sucks, obviously. But yeah, we move forward. Obviously, I'm waiting on the blood results at the moment for the second of the blood tests that we have redone. So the next clip, I guess, will be the results of that. So yeah, let's head on to that clip. So the last clip you saw was me obviously having the negative pregnancy test just under a week ago now. So that was Saturday. It's now Thursday. I was actually really ill that weekend from having my booster. I always react to the boosters and the initial vaccine, but you know, they say that's a good thing. So that was that. So I phoned up on Tuesday or Wednesday and managed to speak to the doctor about my blood test results, and he basically thinks they were done too early, that it's essentially a bit inconclusive. It didn't show that I'd ovulated, yeah, he wanted to try it again for another month, do another blood test. After getting off the phone to him, I realised that last week was actually the right supposed time for the test because I have about a 34-ish day cycle. So luckily I managed to get a cancellation and got a blood test done. I spoke to the doctor this morning. This is hard because, like, at the time of filming this, I've not told Darren. It's like the first time I'm saying this out loud. And in the back of my mind, this could have still been an inconclusive test. But he did say that the test results basically indicated to the fact that I haven't ovulated this month. I think the levels were like 1.6 or something, and they say your hormone level goes up once you've ovulated. As of today, like, I'm due like any day now my period, but I've not come on my period, so for all we know, like, that test again could have been too early, but realistically it probably wasn't. And the reality is that maybe I've not been ovulating. I may never have ovulated. So that was a bit of a blow this morning. As a woman, you know, that is what we think our bodies are sort of made to do. You know, release an egg each month and ovulate and produce a baby. And if you had told me, you know, 10 years ago when I was like 15, you're going to be having trouble one day conceiving, you know, I wouldn't have believed it. Obviously I said in the last part of the video, you know, my parents struggled having me. I was an IVF baby, so I know what it's like to go through. Well, I don't know personally, obviously, but like, I know how much of a struggle infertility can be and what a toll it can have on people. But it's that thing of, you don't think that it's going to happen to you until it does. I haven't long put up the first part of this, and I'm thinking there'll probably be less of a gap now between these two videos than it took for the first one. It is like the 25th or 6th or something of November as I'm filming this. But I did end up getting some really like lovely messages and positive feedback from that video, whether it be people sharing, you know, their infertility struggles, or like just knowing that it's going to help people. So, you know, that's sort of the aim of these videos, is to, I guess, make it an open place for conversation, spread a bit of awareness for it, maybe. Yeah, it was really hard this morning, and as you can tell, this is not an upbeat part of the video, and if I think about it too much, then I'll just burst into tears again. So we're not going to do that on this video. I've composed myself. It doesn't mean that when I heard the neighbour's baby cry earlier that it didn't like hit me in the chest and in the gut. And I think it is that just primal part of you that's like, why is my body not doing something that it's made to do, programmed to do? And at this stage I've got to go and tell Darren, and it's hard. And like, I've spoken to a couple of friends who have also struggled with infertility, and like, they've been really supportive, and I don't think I've ever cried on camera before, but there's a first time for everything. So what does that mean next? Obviously it could mean that I'm not ovulating, and that could be for many different reasons. The reason my mum struggled was because one of the reasons was she had blocked fallopian tubes. It could mean that I just might only ovulate from one side, and you know, that month it wasn't the side that ovulates. It could be as simple as that. One of my really good friends, she had struggled with ovulating, and she was able to get basically like a drug hormone that helped to push ovulation and make that happen. I spoke to my GP, and basically from now, under the NHS, they just straight now refer you to the fertility clinic. So he's going to do that for me. And I was like, you know, how long's the wait? And he said, well, before COVID it was, you know, a couple of months. But obviously we've had COVID, so it could have gone very much one or two ways. It could have gone up because they maybe weren't seeing people through COVID, or it could have gone down because maybe more people were at home more and were able to fall possibly naturally pregnant, which is not unheard of. So that's where we're at. There's literally nothing else I can do now until the referral comes through. Obviously I could go private. I think I looked into it, and like, just for the initial first few tests at the place, you know, that's sort of local to us, which is the same place they'll do for the NHS. It was like, just for the initial like women's tests, I think they look at how many like successful eggs you have and that sort of thing. It's about £400. I'm sure there's extra hidden costs in that, but that's the initial starting fee. I don't think the private route is something we can afford to go down at the moment. I've watched Hannah Witton's vlogs about her and her husband trying, and they were planning on going down the private route because they were fortunate enough that they had the money for it. And then I believe she just ended up falling naturally anyway. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't know what else we can really do. It's one of those things that, you know, we can try as much as we'd like to over the forthcoming months until something happens, but it may not happen. And there might be a reason why, but we won't know until I get those tests and those scans and everything like that, of which we have to wait for. I believe it's procedure that they won't, or at least my GP wasn't going to prescribe me this you know, hormone tablet like my friend had until those scans have been done. So, you know, not the most positive video, and this will probably end this second part, I would say, because I think it just needs to be put on hold for a while, at least until the referral comes through. You know, we have things planned for next year that, you know, it's not ideal to be, you know, fully pregnant and due to give birth, so we would have had to have stopped anyway for a couple of months. I'm gonna end this bit here. I have joined like a Facebook group for like people going through infertility and all sorts of issues around that, so hopefully I can get some advice and, I don't know, just talk to other people about it. It's been a hard day, not just for this reason. Darren got some pretty crappy news as well, so we're all having a marvellous day here. Should we end with a little Blue? Blue, come here. Here's Blue. He's got his little gingerbread that I got him today. Here, say hi. Say hi. He's got his little Christmas gingerbread collar on, if you can see. Hey, hey. He's like, I want to be the only baby in this household. So, thank you for watching this part. I know it's not been the most uplifting, positive video, but it's the reality of life, isn't it? We just carry on. So, I will see you in my next video. From me and Baloo. Bye, guys.